They continue to kill and are responsible for the death of American soldiers, continue at the heart of the instability, deaths in the Middle East, and continue to be the #1 terrorist state. And all we've asked this administration to do, and frankly the previous administrations failed to do it as well, is delist the MEK. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The second prism I think that we should and can look at the challenges confronting us is to do with Iraq. Many of you know I was a soldier in a different war at a different place at a different time. There's a wall down here that has 50,000 names, and there's mothers associated with that. There are over 50,000 moms, Gold Star mothers, Gold Star dads. We have at least 4,400 who served their country and lost their lives in Iraq. We probably have, we have thousands and thousands of more who are coming home with visible and invisible wounds. We probably spent $500 billion to $1 trillion with the hope, with the aspiration, with the goal that once we rid ourselves of Saddam Hussein, the emerging leadership in its own unique way, consistent with their culture, but in its own unique way, embrace the notion of self-government, human rights, tolerance, free speech, all those values associated with the American brand. Think about that sacrifice. And think about the notion that having made that sacrifice of both blood and treasure, we elevate to leadership a group of individuals in the Maliki administration that turned a deaf ear to the European Union, European Parliament, hundreds of European legislators who have denied, or rather yet unwilling to accept the adjudication of the European Union and the UK that the MEK is not a terrorist organization, have repeatedly used, and I'm glad my friend Patrick Kennedy brought it up, who continue to use, this is the irony, the tragic irony, continue to use America's, our designation of the MEK as justification for murdering innocent men and women on 2 occasions in 2009 and 11. Fascinating. In the hopes that you're going to send this tape over to the White House and the Department of State, take a look at the letter that the Iraqi government has sent to the European Commission. And in this very letter, at the top of the list, it says, the organization has already been classified by the international community as a terrorist organization. There's only one reason it's there. We helped this government put it there. So to a certain extent, and I'll defer to my distinguished legal colleagues on the dais, seems to me there may be a co-conspiracy here. Unintended perhaps, but the fact of the matter, it does look like we're in collusion. And as long as we continue to designate it as a terrorist organization, they can send these documents around the world justifying, rationalizing, explaining the murder of innocent, unarmed people on 2 occasions in Camp Ashraf. I had occasion to be talking to the UN High Commissioner on Refugees about 2 weeks ago. He expressed grave disappointment and frustration with the Maliki government. But I must tell you, and I'm going to look at this through a third lens, he expressed frustration, perhaps even surprise, with the United States and its failure to act, because the continued designation has frustrated their limited efforts, because they know even if they get access, and so far the Iraqi government has denied them access, even today Martin Kleber was told that you got to move by the Iraqi government. You must move these men and women to another location in Iraq. Beginning to wonder why we are so docile, why we are so submissive, why we are letting this administration, for whom we've sacrificed thousands of lives, and that's far more important than the treasure, but significant treasure, to tell us what to do consistent with our broader moral obligation to support humanitarian human rights and to keep our promise, which we gave individually to every member of Camp Ashraf, when we also guaranteed them protections under the Geneva Convention. That's the other interesting piece of interesting revelation over the past several days. Not only does the Iraqi government say they are going to continue to do and treat them as a terrorist organization, but they said they are not protected by the Geneva Convention. Rather remarkable statement for someone who wants to be accepted in the broader world community.